Buckle up, Buttercup, because I'm about to tell you how I got into this business and how I got to the point I'm at. Um, so bear with me. It's going to be a long video, but we'll get through it, bro. Um, just like anything else that's difficult, that's painful, you just gotta rip it off like the Band-Aid, just. So that being said, I would I would be in like scouting and Boy Scouts and shit like that, and sometimes when you're in Boy Scouts and shit like that, you'd have to serve like concessions, or you would have to um, do some work, right? Either picking up trash, helping out at food drives, and just doing that, basic volunteer work through Boy Scouts, BSA, Boy Scouts of America, and shit like that. I would then, uh, I wouldn't know it, but that would be like my first food service industry experience, and coincidentally, it would be right down the street at the YMCA where we would do these uh, all night type of things, and one, and I did it twice in consecutive years. So I was probably like 95, 96, and being 11 and 12, or 10 and 11, I would, we would work at, or we would be doing a all night thing with the Boy Scouts at the YMCA where we'd serve concessions and shit like that. So I did that for 2 years. It was just one night only, and at the same time, I would be working a paper route. So there's that. Um, so I had a job with the paper, with the Des Moines Register, and I had a job. And I was doing scouting shit. Fast forward to about 98, 99. I'd be 14, 15 at the time, and it would, I would, my brother would work at Chef's Hat in Davenport, and he didn't really do too well there. And he would then work at, I think it was the Outing Club, yeah. And he'd work at the Outing Club for about 3 months, 4 months as a dishwasher, until, and then I got hired as a dishwasher because I was like, oh hey, I want some money too, and essentially all you're doing is fucking rubbing plates and taking out garbage, putting away plates and whatnot. And so I would work at the Outing Club, and I would be a dishwasher, and at home I would see these cooking shows like Epicurious, or like I can't remember, Julia Child, and like the old A&E channel programming after school, and it would show you the at the time the upper crust of like this is what chefs do. And I would watch that, and I wouldn't really talk about it at work, being a dishwasher, but I was a dishwasher, and I had a good idea of like what I wanted to be back then, because I would talk to the chefs and whatnot, and these weren't just cooks I was working around. These were actual chefs. Like, these were, some of them were very, 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 very skilled, but some of them just found themselves doing it in life that they would, they would just fall into it. They would just do it throughout their adult working life. And I didn't really think about it too much until later on in life, like how old were these people? Like when did they start doing this shit? And so I started working around people that literally started in the 80s. Either they started in the mid 70s cooking and the 80s and the 90s, and we were at the turn of the millennium, and I would be working around these people. And with the outing club, I worked there for about 2.5, close to 3 years, and quit when I was like 17. Because I just didn't want to work there no more. I wanted, it was becoming more and more stressful, more and more taxing. I was starting to, with how things were going at home and how things were going at school. I just didn't want to fucking work there no more. I mean, I got what I needed to know, and I met who I wanted to meet there. And I would look back, on it, and I would say, well, hey, what did you take away from that place, And I took away, an expectation of job duties. I learned how to stay busy, how to be busy and stay busy. I learned how to, as I would call it, eat a shit sandwich, where it's like, this is a shitty ass job, but, you got to get it done. And I would eventually, and they would really leave an impression on the young person I was, because I knew it was a line of work that you don't need to go to school for. You can go to school for it. It's better if you go to school for it. But you don't need to. It's not required. It's not required. It's not needed. You don't need to fucking go to school for that shit. Then I would. But what I learned at the outing club was like, what's a buffet line look like? What's garde manger? What's sauté? What's a sous chef? What's an executive chef? What's a pastry chef? What does the clubhouse manager do? What does the head and lead server do? I think they even had at the time a maitre d'hotel, a chef de partie, a roundsman, and I wasn't exactly a dishwasher when I left. They would teach me. They would teach me knife skills, how to use knives, what knives are used for what. This knife is used for vegetables. The color of cutting boards, how to not cross-contaminate. A lot of good techniques. How the mentality of a working order in the kitchen. What's a good employee? What's a bad employee? The difference between a good employee and a bad employee, and the difference between a good asset and a bad asset. And with that being said, when I left the outing club, I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I knew what type of work I would be in. I just knew it. It made sense. It made complete sense to me, and it still does. I would know what goes into having a good brunch. I would know what goes into having a good party. I would know what goes into, like, bartenders. Having to be a fucking bar back, knowing the types of glasses, plates, platters, pans. What's a fucking springform pan? what's a water bath, all that shit, and I am lucky enough that was my first place to work because a lot of people go to school for that shit. And I was actually learning on the job. Like real experience. Not going to school, not somebody that goes to school for 2 or 3 years and comes out and thinks like they deserve like, well, at the time like they deserve like 15, 16, $18 an hour, and it's like, bro, like in my opinion, if you go to school for culinary arts, and if you come out of that school demanding like premium pay, no, you're not going to get it. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to get it. You're unproven. You have no experience. The only experience is in the classroom. The only experience that people got is like, oh, I went to school. I paid all this money. I deserve this X amount of pay. And it's like, dude, you're not going to get it. You have no real experience. All you know is theory and a very limited practical application of those theorems. And so, with that being said, I kind of had an advantage with working at a fine dining private club setting. And gotta tell you, man, it's not all unicorn farts and rainbows. A lot of it is a lot of it was seeing these guys and these men and women come in and being like, oh, well, that person's fucking that person, and this person hates this person, and this person, if they fuck up one more time, they're fucking gone. They're fucking gone. And in my run at the outing club the first time, that's right, the first time. My run at the outing club the first time would be, and how I would leave it. I would leave basically as an apprentice in 6 months. I would be recognized as a person that, and even the guy said it like, dude, you're a lifer. You're gonna do this for the rest of your life. You're a lifer, dude. So you better learn as much as you fucking can. You better learn as much as you fucking can. And I did. I learned a shit ton. The way I work today is influenced by what I did in my first years. The only things I wish I would have paid more attention to is the advanced shit. The advanced shit was in my face there the whole time. It was how to negotiate politics in the workplace, in the kitchen, And a lot of these, and I remember this guy Mo. He would be the fry guy, and basically like not garde manger, but like pantry. It's a little bit different. Garde manger is definitely one area. Pantry's like it's like it's. I mean, at least at the outing club, a pantry chef is not. It's lower on the pecking order than garde manger. Garde manger is more stressful. It's more expectations. Pantry chef is like, a limited department with limited expectations. Even though at that place, at that time, it was a high expectation, but it's still expectation nonetheless. So I would learn from the pantry chef and the garde manger chef ex- exclusively, because those are the two positions that if you want to get into fine dining cooking, you're probably going to get. You're probably going to get garde manger or pantry. And to advance, it's not about how hard you can work. If you work real hard, and if you do a bang up job in pantry, you're probably going to go to garde manger. If you do a good job in garde manger, you're probably never going to leave garde manger. you're, you're, you're probably never going to leave garde manger. Ever. Like, if that's you. Like, they want you there. You do a great job there. You know what you're doing with cold food. But yeah, when I left the outing club, I was definitely ready to be on the line. I was starting to be on the line at the end, because they already had other dishwashers. I started to prove my worth. I was doing a great job. I was doing fucking cleaning. I was training other dishwashers like no, that's a 7-inch. No, that's a 10-inch. No, that's a that's a flute. No, that's a highball. You can't put wine glasses with fucking highball glasses. You can't do that. These are special silver. These are special flat silverware. What's the difference between silverware and flatware? I love it when people call silverware flatware. Are you a fucking idiot? Is silverware flat or is it silver? Like, come on, man. Flatware is fucking plates. All right? It's flat on the bottom. And, and like, things like that. So that's how I would really get to start and figure out what I really want to do in my adult life as I'm working. Because in the sense of I wanted to be one of those guys on the line. I looked at them like they're fucking cool as fuck, bro. Like, these guys are fucking badass. These guys could show up to work fucking hungover. These guys get to talk to girls, right? They get to work around girls. The workplace attitude can be, you can be outlandish, bombastic, you get to work as a team. You get to tell people that they fucking suck, like, dude, you need to shut the fuck up. Don't worry about what you're doing, because you could barely fucking handle it. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you're doing. And you get. So it was a good spot for me to it was a good spot for me to really learn and take off. What happened was I just got tired of working there, man, and with what was going on at home and at school and in my personal relationship, I was fucking done, dude. Like, I was starting to get short with the executive chef, with the sous chef, with the, I hated the fact that I was working around these people, and even though my work was great, it was good, it's stellar. Even on my performance reviews with Chef James, I was like, dude, you're doing great. You got a future in this business. I was just like, fuck this shit, dude. So one day, it was in the afternoon. It was on a Friday. Uh, we had the school I went to, North Scott. They booked a thing at the outing club, and in my personal opinion, I said fuck this shit. I'm not going to be washing dishes. I'm not going to be breaking down the buffet line. I'm not going to be fucking here till fucking 12:30 at night on a Friday when I could be having fun. I could be at the function as well. And I just said fuck this shit. And I was one of two dishwashers. Two dishwashers at the night. And the dishwasher, his name's Carl. It's Carl. And I just said to Carl, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking done. Like, fuck this shit. He's like, hey, it's all good, but don't even worry about it. And he asked me if this is my first job I'm ever going to walk out on and shit. So Carl went up to the executive chef, and he basically said, hey, I think Josh is going to fucking walk. And the executive chef came over. He's like, hey, man, just take it easy. Like, he's like, I got to warn you, though. And he followed through with this warning. He did. He said, I know a lot of people in this industry locally. And he said, if you walk out on me, he's like, I'll never hire you again. Oh, you can't even put me down as a reference. And if you do, if they call me, I'm going to tell them you walked out. He's like, I'm going to tell them that you walked out. You didn't do it the right way. You didn't quit on me the right way. And that's what you're going to be known for a few years. This person that is unpredictable. And then you'll just fucking walk out and leave everybody high and dry. And he said, no matter what, if you walk out, somebody else will have to go back there, and that's pulling resources from the kitchen. Somebody's going to have to cover you. He's like, and he basically told me I was high value. I was a high value person. And I was like 17 at the time, man. And I was like, whoa. I made my phone call to get my ride home. I put my time card in there, punched out. And then they realized, like, they didn't see me for like 10, 15 minutes. Then they checked the side door and then they're like, dude, are you walking out? They're like, dude, just clock back in and fucking finish the job, dude. Put your 2 weeks in, clock back in. We're going to act like this never happened. I didn't do it. And they're like, we're going to give you 5 minutes to figure it out. We're going to give you 5 minutes to figure it out. And if you don't figure it out in 5 minutes, we're going to chase you off the property. And that's what happened. 5 minutes passed. They're like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And, yeah. For a long time, that place would be my hero. For a long time, that kitchen would be my hero. I would always have fond memories because of what happened there. I know I haven't really went into, like, the things that happened there, but, do I regret walking out there? Yeah, I do. Would I change it? No. I wouldn't.